Hey guys, I've been fighting a cold the past few days, so I hope my voice doesn't sound too crazy. But here's my final team for the Elite Four. We have Bansamir the Gyarados, and he's rocking Surf, Blizzard, Fly, and Bite. We have Gamboa the Slowking, who's rocking Surf, Ice Beam, Psychic, and Swagger. We have Beacon the Lantern, who's rocking Thunderbolt, Surf, Takedown, and Confuse Ray. Ortega the Jinx, who has Ice Punch, Psychic, Shadow Ball, and Lovely Kiss. Lawn Gnome the Raticate, who has Return, Quick Attack, Thief, and Crunch. And Fade the Machamp, who has Detect, Thunder Punch, Cross Chop, and Earthquake. The level cap is 50. I can't go higher than that until I beat Will. And the final level cap, or Lance's Ace, is level 56. But for right here, we're going to go and take on Will. Will leads off with his Girafarig, and I lead off with Bansamir. Basically, I'm wanting to get some bites in, hoping to get a flinch, but unfortunately that does not happen. But the Girafarig just sets up an agility. I get hit with a Psychic, but Gyarados is a good, especially bulky mon, and so it doesn't do too much damage. His next Pokemon is Slowking, and I just opt to stay in and keep going for some bites. My goal for this first one is to have Bansamir take most of, if not all, the kills, just to see what happens, especially since he has the leftovers. Right here, we're also outspeeding. Again, this is also because of like I forget what they call in Gen 2, but it's basically like EVs. You know, with our stats for using these Pokemon throughout the game, they're a lot better than just the normal standard Pokemon that trainers use. He brings out Slowbro, who lands a crit, so that's a little dicey. And what I opt to do is go into Beacon because this Slowbro has a Quick Claw, and I want to be careful considering what happened the last time I let Quick Claw Pokemon stay in. But Beacon takes care of the Slowbro with a Thunderbolt, and I opt to stay in on his Ace Xatu. He does land a Psychic and he gets a special defense drop, but we get the one-hit KO with Thunderbolt. And that takes care of Will. So right here, if I had, like, I guess, rare candies or something, I could level up my Pokemon now to what I assume is the level cap is 56. But either way, I get everyone healed up, and then it's time to fight Koga. Koga is significantly harder in this game than in the previous, in the original Crystal version. His Crobat is probably one of the hardest, just straight out Pokemon you fight in the game at all. Lance's Dragonites are probably up there as the next hardest one, but this Crobat is a menace. So Bansamir gets the one-hit KO with Fly on his Ariados, and then he brings out his Quillfish next. I switch into Beacon, who takes a Sludge Bomb, but he does get poisoned. Fortunately, I did have a Miracle Berry attached. So right here, this Quillfish is trying to protect, but obviously if I was still poisoned, this would be rough. But basically, Thunderbolt just barely misses on the one-shot. I get hit by another Sludge Bomb, and a crit would have killed me. Yeah. But I don't think I really could have done much to change that. He brings out his Venomoth next, and I go into Gyarados, who takes a Sludge Bomb pretty well. And again, I gave him the leftovers. Gyarados with Fly and leftovers is absolutely busted, and I'm going to take full advantage of that. So Bansamir gets the knockout. And then his next Pokemon is going to be his Muck, who I really do not like this Pokemon, even in the original Crystal version. No matter what version, this Muck is always a pain in the butt. So I bring in Lawn Gnome, and basically Lawn Gnome has no items because this thing has leftovers, and just like against Claire, I plan to steal it. So, unfortunately, not landing because of minimizes and all this shenanigans, but basically if Lawn Gnome dies, it happens, but fortunately I was able to steal the leftovers, and this overall I think was the correct play, because even if I decide to not steal the leftovers, or if I say to change to another Pokemon, try and knock it out, the leftovers is still going to heal it. So, I think it's best just to try to take the leftovers and then start trying to get through the crazy evasion buffs. So right here, Fade is taking a lot of hits against the Muck, and I tried to do like Detect and stuff to reduce the PP as much as possible, but ultimately I switch into Gamboa, and right here it's just hoping that I can land some Psychics. First Psychic misses, which sucks, and then the Muck goes for a Toxic. I really hate this thing. I'm starting to wonder if Crobat really is the worst Pokemon on his team. Right now, it looks like it's the Muck. Fortunately, Gamboa does land 2 Psychics in a row against the crazy amount of Minimize buffs, and now his Ace Crobat comes in. So right here, I go into Bansamir, and Crobat starts setting up the double teams. This sucks. I thought we were over this. And so Crobat goes for some bites, and he gets 2 turns of flinching, and then he goes for a Confuse Ray. And I hurt myself in confusion. Leftovers is helping me stay alive, but this is really not good right now. This Crobat is just able to stay in and get a lot of flinch and confusion shenanigans, and then he's slowly increasing his speed. Like right here, I switch into Bansamir, and it decides to go for a double team. So right here, I figured it would be best to go for a fly if I didn't flinch. He goes for another double team, and I missed a fly. Go figure. I decided to go for another fly because his evasion is high enough as it is. Like, using a turn 2 fly just doesn't make a difference anymore. I'm sure there's some way I'm playing this poorly, but, at the time I felt like this would be fine. But yeah, this is getting pretty rough, and I tried going for Blizzards, but it's not working, and he eventually Toxic my Bansamir, so it's going to make the leftovers null and void, and he's confusing me. So this is why this Crobat is probably one of the hardest Pokemon in this game. I switch into Ortega, who takes a bite. I pray that this Ice Punch will hit, but it does not. I go for another one, and it does not work. Unfortunately, Ortega needs to stay around because if other Pokemon die but she's alive, I at least have a fighting chance against Lance's Dragonites, I think. And right here, I come to a decision that I'm not happy with. I go for a Psychic. My Quick Claw procced, but I didn't hit. And I lost Gamboa. Right here, I go into Lawn Gnome, and I go for a return, and I do not hit it. And he goes for another bite. Again, I'm not getting flinched right now, but really I don't care about that. What sucks is when Bansamir got flinched in the beginning of this fight. I decided to go back into Ortega, who gets hurt in confusion and gets poisoned. This is falling apart very quickly. Yeah. So I go into Beacon. Crobat goes for bites, and I hit I get through the flinch, but I don't hit the Thunderbolt, and then Beacon dies. So I go into Fade. I try to go for a Thunder Punch, even though it's not going to kill. But, Crobat gets a crit. And he gets a flinch too, and just completely demolishes Fade. Yeah. This run's over. But, this was fun. Not this part. This part was nuts. But I learned a lot during this, and I feel like the next time I do this run, I'll be a lot more prepared. But yeah, this is my Crystal Legacy hard mode Nuzlocke challenge.